Explain Discord for anybody who doesn't know what that
Oh,
is.
so
Because I didn't know what it was until maybe 2 months ago.
yeah, it's a wonderful thing. So Discord was originally meant to be a place for gamers to get together and chat with each other, game with each other, etc. And it's essentially this platform where you make what's called a server, and in that server you have different channels for different topics, and you can have voice chats and whatnot. And it all depends on the server owner on how they want to set it up. And originally it was chat for gamers. Well, other people caught wind of Discord and how that worked and kind of co-opted it. So now you have all these different communities just flocking to Discord to kind of make their own. It's like best way I can describe is kind of like a more structured Facebook group,
Okay.
but just on a different platform.
Yeah. What communities have you found yourself most at home in on Discord?
I've found myself most at home in like one Discord right now. There's another one that I was more active in, but it's just kind of off and on. So one of them is for a game that I play called Dragon Cave, and it's just like this cute. You collect all the dragon sprites. It's super simple, and we on the Discord we go on there to talk about in-game events, and we can trade with each other and show off our dragons and whatever else. The other one is called The Lantern, which is more to do with, it's a pagan server, and we just kind of hang out doing pagan things, you know? So.
What are pagan things?
So pagan is a very huge term.
Right. It's really broad and encompassing. It's pretty much
Yeah.
not Christian.
It's anything not within the church. And
Okay.
originally the term was used by in Europe to refer to like European religions that were not in the church, like your Greek deities and
Celtic,
yeah,
Gaelic
exactly,
people, the Druids and everybody.
Right, they were considered pagans. Well, now that term has expanded to include anything that isn't one of the Abrahamic religions. So a lot of times, like, Native American religions or, Eastern religions, just anything that's not this one thing, kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think everyone agrees with that definition. I mean, there's little consensus on anything for that matter.
Right.
But just in general, that's kind of what the term refers to.
Yeah. Is it more of is there a certain branch within paganism as a whole that you more closely identify with? Is that something that's on your server, or is it just kind of everybody's there that doesn't have an affiliation with the church?
Yeah, it's kind of a free-for-all. There actually is people on there who do affiliate with Abrahamic religions. It's really what you want to make of it. It's highly individualistic. We have a lot of people on there who come from Native American backgrounds. We have people that kind of go towards old mythologies. We have people dealing in Celtic, and we have I think one or two people on there who are Jewish. So it's really a melting pot. Anything goes. People do self-identify, but overall, we just kind of accept anyone who wants to show up.
Right.
As long as they're not mean.
How do you get through the self-identification process? Is that something that comes up in the group frequently?
Absolutely. Like, people are constantly trying to find their own identities, their own niches, trying to find what they believe, what jives with them. And everyone goes through the process differently. I know I did, and at some point I just kind of gave up and stopped caring. Because like, labels are very frustrating, because it's like, you don't want to claim a label and feel like you're lying, but at the same time you want to be able to point to something and say, this is what I am, so it's just this weird conflict going on. Some people find their home in certain identities and certain labels, and other people, they're just like, I'm me, I just kind of do my own thing. So it depends on the person.
Yeah, because in a way, labels can be, to use Brummett's terms, both empowering and disempowering, because they give you that sense of community, they give you a structure, a social fabric to work within. I mean, the church is probably the most mainstream and normative example of that. But even within the church, I mean, there's the Catholic Church. It's kind of the head honcho, everything.
Right.
And literally thousands of denominations of Protestantism that are constantly dividing even more. But that's a different topic for a different day. But within your niche, whether you're Catholic, Lutheran, Baptist, non-denom, whatever it is, everybody still seems to hopefully find unity in the person of Christ and God. And it's always frustrating to me and frustrating to really everybody when people tend to focus on literally everything else that they don't agree with instead of focusing on what they do agree with, because then it becomes divisive, and people who just want to sit there like you and say, I'm me, those people become less and less allowed into these communities, because now you have to wear the label to be in the community, and the label is the community itself, and you start really not tearing at the social fabric, but trying to just stitch it closer and closer together to the point where it's just an echo chamber, which is no bueno at all.
Yeah, that's actually a problem that I've run into on other servers. Is I did server hop, which is basically you just go around trying out different servers and seeing where
People church hop too.
Exactly. Same thing. And what I've found is that pagan servers can go one of two ways. Either they're well managed, which I feel as though my server is, or they can kind of dissolve into these conversations of gatekeeping and cultural appropriation and identity politics and just all this other stuff that really blocks off conversation. And then you just kind of have what you were talking about, where the in-group just sutures together and anybody else can just,
Yeah. What do you think makes the difference between a server that's well managed and a server that kind of succumbs to the noise, for lack of better words?
It honestly, a lot of it depends on what the server owner and what's called staff. So in a server, generally you have the person who makes it, which is the server owner, and then you have staff like mods who have administrative power to kind of watch over the server, make sure everybody's following the rules and behaving and stuff like that. So it honestly depends on those people that are kind of in charge. And it also depends on their mentality. So you have to balance wanting to be respectful, which is where a lot of these discussions of cultural appropriation, identity politics come from, is trying to have a conversation about respect and acceptance. So how do you balance that with going too far, where if someone so much as says one word out of line, you get labeled as some sort of phobic, and you need a server owner and mods who are level-headed enough to kind of walk that line.
Yeah, in that sense, you really are kind of shepherding people. It's like taking it back to like
It's our flock.
darn near pastoral imagery where you have all these sheep, the sheeple, and you're kind of making sure that they don't wander into where the wolves are.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. The wolves of discontent.